What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Lions' newest addition, receiver Kalif Raymond. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. And today, we're talking about the Lions receiver who they signed today to a one-year deal, Kalif Raymond, out of Tennessee. Now, I know what you're thinking. This isn't a normal film video. You know, we're not over at the computer. It's not the microphone. It's not the weird quality. No, it is not. It's a normal video. And I was planning to do one like that, but after watching his film, I noticed there's not a lot here. He just didn't get that many opportunities, so I think it might be easier to just do it like this. I think I have a pretty good feel on what he can bring to the Lions, what his skill set is, where his weaknesses are, and what he's going to do with the Detroit Lions offense. I don't think we need a, full, 30 clips to look at. I think I can throw a couple in here, and you guys will get the idea with Kalif Raymond. But we can talk about some more numbers, some stats, and just some facts about Kalif Raymond. So let's just dive right into it. All right, let's quickly recap. The Lions signed Kalif Raymond today to a one-year deal out of Tennessee. He's 5'8", 185 pounds. He went undrafted out of Holy Cross. Now, I don't know the contract details yet. I still don't know exactly how much we're going to pay him, but I'm assuming it's not going to be super expensive when you look at his stat sheet because it's not very gaudy. There's just not a lot of numbers there because he didn't play that much with the Tennessee Titans. Or you can look at his game logs and you'll notice that there's a lot of games missing there. And you're like, wait, what's going on? Why are there so many games missing? Like, what kind of injury was he dealing with during the season? It wasn't an injury that he was dealing with during the season. They just didn't play him. He had so many guys above him basically on the depth chart. Let me roll through the players on the Titans roster that had more receptions than Kalif Raymond did last season. Seriously, let me just run through it just to show you kind of where the pecking order was for Kalif Raymond. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, Anthony Frisker, Adam Humphries, Derrick Henry, Jeremy McNichols, and Cameron Batson. All of those guys had more receptions than Kalif Raymond last season. Just didn't have that much of a role. But where his role really did come into play last season was on special teams. Heading into the season, he was listed on their depth chart as the starting kick returner and punt returner. Now, he got this opportunity after showing his skills off in 2019. In 2019, Adam Humphries went down with an injury in the second half of the season. I think it was about 8 weeks in the season. You proved to us in training camp that you can be a return man. We have full trust in you. You're able to catch the ball. You're explosive. Let's give you the opportunity to do it. And he did. And then heading into 2020, they decided, hey, this is our guy. This is our returner. So we're going to keep him around to be our returner. And maybe he'll get more involved offensively. That unfortunately wasn't the case. He really didn't get involved. He played in 15 games, yet he only played on 23% of the offensive snaps. 23%. Less than a fourth of the snaps. That's it. It's kind of crazy. So not super involved, and that's why we're not doing a film video. But I do have some clips of when he did get on the field and what I think he can bring to Detroit. Well, let's start back at Holy Cross. So out of Holy Cross, he was clearly known for one thing. Speed, okay? Speed is something that you can't coach, especially when it's at this level. He ran a 4.3 40 coming out of the draft, but he also had a 10-yard split of 1.48 seconds, which was second out of that draft class. I think that was back in 2016. Also, his RAS score, relative athletic score, was an 8.16, which was labeled as elite because of his speed. Also at Holy Cross, he is a track record holder. The guy could fly. Simply put, he could fly. That's why he draws interest, because you just can't teach the kind of speed that this guy has and how much he can absolutely stretch a defense out. Now, when you look at his games from last season, you'll notice a couple of things. How was he using his offense, and how can he be involved in Detroit? One of the biggest ways that he's been involved in the last 2 seasons in the Titans offense, when he does get involved, is on play action, heavy run sets, stretch the defense. And it's something that we do with Marvin Hall. During that video, I said, hey, he reminds me a lot of Marvin Hall. This is why. We go to these run-heavy sets. I mean, they had a bell cow last season in Derrick Henry. Now we have Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. Hopefully we get that run game popping because it'll open up the pass because we need it to.
So let's take a look at this play one more time from a Lions perspective. On the outside is Kalif Raymond, who's going to be with the Detroit Lions next season. You have an I-4 set that's going to be a play action. And in the slot, you have, I think that's Corey Davis. Picture that being our Brashad Perriman, 6'2". Now notice how this play action sucks the linebackers up because they respect the run. Now you get a lot of space over the middle on these drag routes, which Perriman can do very well. But Kalif Raymond on the outside with basically just a stop and go route, his ability to stretch the field. Tannehill overthrows it by a little bit, but that can happen when you're a little bit shorter. But that's what our offense could be. I mean, just picture that with Lions players.
Out for deep threats to get deep. So that's when Kalif Raymond got his opportunity to line up on the outside and just go deep and see if he can stretch the defense. Play action, protect the quarterback. You got a lot of guys out there to block. Give him time to get downfield and put it up and see if he can go make a play. And in the last 2 seasons with the Titans, technically nine deep targets, he caught 6 of those. So 66.7%. Definitely not a huge sample size, but clearly a good conversion rate when he took shots to him deep.
All right, let's watch another one of these deep plays. Kalif Raymond this time is at the bottom of the screen. Now you can notice the heavy set that Tennessee is deploying here, which as you can notice, Harrison Smith, the safety, is near the box right now. Now this play action, he doesn't bite too much on it, but because you have 2 receivers going deep here, on the top of the screen, this deep, really curl route sucks Harrison Smith in. Then you get a one-on-one, and there's just no chance in the open space. Great double move there, gets tons of separation, and anytime our guys go off against divisional teams, you just gotta love it. I wish he would have scored here though. Score on Minnesota. What are you doing? He didn't score. He got tackled at like the 4. It looked like he scored though. Look at this.
Now, one of the biggest issues with his game, and you'll notice it right away, is his size. Speed is there, size is not. At 5'8", he can line up at the outside receiver position. Again, a lot of play action scenarios, he will do this. But the issue is, if he doesn't have that separation, he doesn't beat the cornerback, and it's a one-on-one when you throw it up and it's more like a jump ball, that's when issues can come. And here's a perfect example. Here's a jump ball that basically Ryan Tannehill throws here. Maybe a little bit overthrown on this pass, and it doesn't put Kalif Raymond in a position where only I can catch it. Instead, it's going up for grabs, and the cornerback basically just jumps over Kalif Raymond and takes it out of the air. This is not where he's going to be super impactful. 5'8" can be good for certain things. It also can have its downfall. Guys hurt on jump ball occasions, but it also can make it difficult at times for a quarterback to see you. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, like on play action, behind linebackers, things like that. But also, it's his catch radius. It's going to be much smaller. It's a smaller target for a quarterback, especially when you're looking deep. So if there isn't a clear separation there, or if the quarterback is very inaccurate on their passes, you put the ball in harm's way very quickly, it's difficult for him to save the play. You put this ball 5 yards away from him and it's not that near him, it's going to be difficult for him to knock it down and say, okay, it's going to be incomplete and we'll live to play another down. You might have just threw a direct pick. So it's a very small radius, which means there's got to be separation there, and your quarterback has to be really accurate on time, and that's kind of what Goff is. And that is one of the biggest downfalls, is his size. But where does this help him? The size actually helps him a lot. So twitchy and he's so quick. I like Rashad Perriman's top end speed. Terrell Williams has some solid top end speed as well. Perriman can fly though. But when you watch Kalif Raymond, not only can he fly, but he can get there in a hurry. He is super twitchy and quick in the open field, where on short routes, head fakes, he can just blow by defenders quickly. But also, once he gets the ball in his hand, he's 0 to 60 in no time. Off the release, he can fly off the release, especially if he's not pushed or physical at the line. And this is the same thing we talk about Rashad Perriman. It's very difficult to be physical with these guys at the line, because you know that if you lose them, they're going to run right by you. So you're worried, so you have to give them this cushion. And now, the time you don't give them cushion is when you have safety help over top. But it's difficult to put safety help over top if you can run the ball. So it all kind of works this way back in one. Really, the moral of the story is the Lions need to be able to run the ball next season. That way these guys can get open. Not even just a safety position. If you can run the ball instinctually, these linebackers will dive down on play action. If you're not running the ball well, these linebackers aren't as worried about it, and they can be way more patient. And then when they diagnose that that's just a play action, they're going to be in the way for receivers on plays over the middle of the field. If you're running the ball well, especially between the tackles, like Jamal Williams can, now these linebackers are worried about the run. They're trying to shut it down, and these play actions sit you right where it hurts, over the middle or down the field, and they can be as impactful as possible. So will he be more impactful in the Lions offense? Possibly. I don't look at him as a top 3 receiver right now. Probably, maybe not even a top 4 receiver, but at least not as a top 3. I think Terrell Williams, Rashad Perriman, and you look at a guy, Cephas, all those guys to me will be ahead of him on the depth chart. But that doesn't mean he won't get some more opportunities in Detroit, because he is, like Marvin Hall, the guy that can take the top off, and he's kind of the guy you overlook, right? You're worried, oh my gosh, where's Perriman? Where's Terrell? But then you kind of forget about this guy. And with the Titans, that's kind of was. Where's A.J. Brown? Where's Corey Davis? Oh, snap. That was Kalif Raymond, who just ran by for 60 yards. That's where he gets lost in the mix. Just the same way that Marvin Hall got lost when we have Golladay and Jones, and then all of a sudden this guy named Marvin Hall, deep ball Hall, gets deep and he just blows by everybody. Not a lot of receptions, not a lot of targets, but when he does get those opportunities, he can make one big play can change the game. One big 50-plus yard play can just completely change the game. You don't need 5 reception if you give me one of those, because then the game's just completely different. You just changed the whole dynamic of the football game with one of those big plays. Momentum can shift. Maybe it's a big touchdown. It puts you in field position. Everything can change off of one big play in the NFL. right? Big plays are huge, and this is a big playmaker, and he has that potential. Like about his game is that he's shown off his slot and outside versatility. Usually when he's out on the outside, he's going deep. I mean, it's usually what it is. Now, at the slot, we've seen a little bit of both. Yes, we see him go deep from that position, but you've seen a couple of opportunities to do some things underneath. For example, a nice little out routes, curl routes. He's kind of quick on those. Again, they have to give him some cushion even at the slot position. But mainly what I like him are slants. Oh my gosh, is this guy quick. And you could just see the twitchiness. It's like, okay, if you play basketball before, you know what I'm talking about, all right? I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like 5'11", right? But I hate guarding guys that are like 5'6". That's awful. It's terrible because they're so short to the ground or so low to the ground. They're tough to keep up with. They're quick and twitchy. Everything's so difficult. It's kind of what Kalif Raymond does to defenders. He's so small and close to the ground that he's twitchy with everything, and it's really difficult to keep your head on him. Man to man, he can be a nightmare. Drag routes. Kalif Raymond things will work a little bit differently on drag routes over the middle. You really have to sell that play action and get those linebackers to bite, because if not, and they stay put, it's going to be difficult to see him if he's running behind linebackers. Sure, he may be able to fill into those gaps, but it's still a smaller, target for a quarterback to see. Or you have to have him run underneath the linebackers, dragging underneath. And that wouldn't always be on play action plays because they're trying to get him to suck up. So running underneath could be very difficult. So really got to sell that play action, or it'll be quickly underneath to get the ball in his hands to just let him run. That slant I showed you with 3rd and 20, and he picked that up. He can just take the top off and go deep and run by a corner. Double moves, you can see just how quick that hesitation is. I mean, just a quick stop and go. And it's not kind of long. It's not slow. Perriman's fast. He's got higher top end speed. But Perriman doesn't have the same twitch out of breaks that Kalif Raymond does. And a lot of that has to do because Perriman's 6'2", and because Kalif Raymond's 5'8". Big difference there, closer to the round, a lot quicker and a lot twitchier out of his breaks. And that's what makes him so dangerous as a player. Lions, one thing that he will be, however, is probably our kick returner and punt returner next season. And if you go by the stats, as a punt returner, for guys that qualify with enough returns, he had 23 last season, which was the most that anybody's had for the Titans since Adoree Jackson, because he was the guy. They found their guy as a returner. He was 8th in the league in yards per punt return. 8th. That's impressive. Top 10. That's way above average. 8th in the league. Kickoffs, really hard to gauge. Not a ton of opportunities there. Really, in today's NFL, so many kickoffs turn into touchbacks that it's just like, okay. But as a punt returner, speed kills, because Jamal Agnew was super fast and he was difficult and he has some returns. The thing is, with on the punt returners, there's not a lot of fast guys on that team that's punting the ball away. They have their gunners, and they have some tight ends and offensive linemen and the punter. That's about it. You don't have a lot of speed. So if you get past that first wave and you can get to the outside, now all of a sudden they're in trouble, because they don't have guys that can run down this type of speed. And that's why he's so dangerous. And he's a threat every time he catches it to take it to the house. Okay? He's not going to run through a lot of tackles. He's not, build up, I'm kind of slow, now I'm going. He is catch the ball and I'm gone. And it's like, oh my gosh, this guy can fly. That's why he's so dangerous. He's dangerous as a punt returner and a kick returner. Speed is just dangerous. And the thing I love about it is that even the Titans said, we trust that he's not going to drop the ball. And that's huge too. We had some issues with that with Agnew. He dropped the ball at times. They had trust that he won't drop it, and I can trust that he probably won't drop it with the Detroit Lions either. Now, again, the opportunities weren't necessarily all there, and I don't think he's going to get that many opportunities with Detroit either. But I know injuries will probably occur. Guys are going to miss time. He could step in on that outside receiver position, but I think really he's a gadget that can just fly. He did get one end-around opportunity, just didn't go super well. He lost 3 yards, but just didn't get a lot of opportunities. Got 15 targets last year. I could see him getting anywhere between 20 and 25. Up that a little bit, give him more opportunities. I mean, we don't have, I think we know who our 1 and 2 is right now. We'll see what they do in the draft. But, all these guys can lose their role. They all can. And they've all, they've dealt with injuries, especially Brashad Perriman. So he's going to get, I think, more opportunities on this offense. And if you can run the ball, that's when he's going to be at his best. If you're struggling to run the ball, he's going to be less impactful. But look at this catch. Pass behind a bit, but to make the grab on the run. The guy seems to have pretty solid hands. He could be way more involved as an underneath weapon than he was with the Titans. And he didn't need to be super involved with the Titans because they had all these other guys that could catch the football. With the Lions, while Cephas will be that underneath, reliable option, depending on how much the Lions really add to this receiver group, as of now, he is on pace. He's on target to get more opportunities than he did in the last 2 seasons with the Titans, just because there's more opportunities out there. Now, we start bringing in some receivers in draft, that starts to go away. But as of now, I definitely think he'll get more targets than he did with the last couple seasons with Titans. And he'll get an opportunity, just like I think Marvin Hall could have, to be more dynamic. Marvin Hall, you saw the talent there. Injuries happened. He became the guy, and he looked good. He had to start, and he looked good. He looked really good. I think that could happen with Kalif Raymond. I don't think he'll start, but I think he could get more opportunities and kind of show off what he can be. This guy's been through a lot. Dude's only 26 years old. He doesn't have like a scary injury history. I mean, I know he had that concussion, but he came back. I mean, he's only 26 years old. I know it's only a one-year deal, but that's not old at all. That's not old. That's a young man. He's got a lot of football ahead of him. We found our returner here, very likely. Pop the top off and change the game in one play, just like our guy, Deep Ball Hall. There will never be another Deep Ball Hall, but we got Kalif Raymond. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.